I just had a question that I feel when I look at my children, I feel that the amount of work that they're getting in school, I can't even relate to because I didn't do that much work when I was younger. But they get so much. And because of that, I feel that quite often I'm seeing more frustration, more anger coming out. I just feel that there's a lot of pressure at a very young age. And I was just wondering if you've seen any evidence of anything that parents seem to do that helps to deal with that, especially with the children.
This may sound simple, but spending time with children, that it's what's difficult for parents and adults and children both to do in terms of getting off the work, whether that work is on a screen or on a piece of paper, is there isn't an alternative activity, right? During the COVID pandemic, the 2 years that people were working from home primarily, they became more exhausted, even though working from home was desirable before COVID, right? Everybody was begging to have a day working from home and everybody would get shut down, and then COVID comes along, everybody's allowed to do it. The problem is they would segue straight from their online time to work into their entertainment time. And then so that encroached on their personal time. Those who did well were people literally built in time outside of their work or education time to leave their screen, to leave their activity and go do something else. The fact of the matter is when we live together, we almost become oblivious to what other people are doing. It's like they become part of the furniture. So it takes that much more effort to structure in time together, because even though you're together all the time, right? Think about any relationship. When you're living in separate spaces, the time you come together, you put more effort into what you do in the time you have together. You're more attentive. When we start living together, again, friends, family, even when you're at school together in the same classroom all the time, you start to become part of each other's furniture and you become less attentive and invest less in the time you have together because you think it's available at all times. So as parents, a really simple thing to do is make use of the time you already have together by putting in conscious activities, which give you a break, give the kids a break, and actually improve your relationship, which has a knock-on effect on your emotional regulation because you're not carrying anything just on your own. Yeah? Is that might not be the answer you were looking for.
The onus is back on you. I mean, it's one of the things that kind of, we have a spectrum, right? So like we have some parents who come to us and say, "You're not giving my child enough homework," and we have to kind of say to them, "Calm down. It's okay. They'll be okay. They're 4 years old. Leave them alone." And the other end of the spectrum, which is, it's too much. But I think one of the things that it's similar, but just a kind of slight nuance to the point that Chetna made is that I always encourage parents to spend as much time as possible having the conversation with their child. And for some reason or another, conversation actually that goes beyond what did you do at school today, an actual deeper level conversation just seems to be so rare. And it's not just the kids who are on their devices. I mean, the parents are as if not worse in terms of the amount of screen time parents want to keep imposing on their children. Maybe they should impose it on themselves in terms of making, the child is there. And we talk about kind of the pressures of, modern day life. The child is there in front of us, at dinner time or whenever that might be. And the parent is on a screen. And so I think the quality of conversation that takes place between parents and children, I find is concerning actually. And I think that there's nowhere near enough emphasis placed as could be at home on the quality of the conversation that takes place between parents and children. And I think just that one thing would not only massively improve their life chances in terms of how they do at school and in all aspects of their life, but also improve the relationship at home. So
can I make one point on that, just building on that? Being a parent is automatic for some people, well, for a lot of people, right? You just become a parent. But being a good parent is hard work. And actually, being a good parent requires a level of selflessness, because good parents have to evolve their parenting style with the changing needs of their child. So the conversation is different. I mean, prior to 11, your kids dote on you. So however you want to take the conversation is interesting to them, right? So conversation might be easier. Different parents are going to have different experiences. I appreciate that. Some people find the teenage years easier. But as that subtle umbilical cord gets cut when they develop their own identity, what they want to talk about, what they want to do may not be of interest to us as parents. It may even put fear in you because maybe you never were exposed to what they're interested in or don't understand it. And so this is where I guess that being a little selfless, engaging in the austerity of, okay, if I can let go of what I've gotten used to, which is actually have control over their every movement, and give them a bit of freedom, the ability to fly like a kite while there's this cord connecting them to me, that will actually improve even and ensure that they have good relationships as adults. Because generally when children and young people can open up about what's interesting to them with someone who may not even find it interesting, like their parents, and they know you'll still listen to them and give them space, then when it comes to talking about the difficult stuff, that difficult stuff is not so hard to share.
You know, we as parents are expecting too much from our children, and the societal pressures are such that we feel that we have to go by what society is asking us to do. And we are not being helpful to our own selves, and we are not being content. You know, satisfaction and content are two words which I feel expect a lot out of us. We are not happy with what we have. And so we demand too much from everybody, including ourselves. And the pressures in the society and the education system and the world outside the education system, in the sense that the pressure of going to work and the management is expecting out of you, and all the markets are expecting out of you, are so much that is beyond our control. So where satisfaction and contentment lie are, I feel, to the two main pillars which we should be, adapting ourselves to. That's the way I see it. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's the way I feel, that the pressures have to go down and we have to be content with less than having more.
I think that's a really powerful point, and I couldn't agree with you more. But it does, where we put the boundary of what's enough, or how we respond to other people's expectations, also depends on who we hear from, right? You hear from and surround yourself with people who are on board with a simple lifestyle and live by what you need, then creating that boundary for yourself is much easier. But if we surround ourselves with and keep hearing that more, then even if you want to have a boundary of simplicity, it's going to be very hard to put in place. And then when our supplies are exhausted, then children very easily become extensions of our own egos, right? And we try to live through them. So yeah, I think that's a powerful point. Thank you so much.